Okay, so as you can see here in the Pro Tools main window, you've got the acoustic session I recorded for Aleighcia as part of a promotion on the BBC Horizons TV show. being the fact that it was my first first ever live acoustic recording project, I kind of wanted to keep it straightforward. I didn't want to make it too technical. I thought, okay, well, we'll experiment with a couple of microphones. We'll work with a couple of placements. We'll get some high quality condenser microphones involved to see what type of capture that we could get and really deliver, I guess, the best material that we could. Um, so yeah, the as previously mentioned, the the project comprised of like a series of 4 takes, and I decided that the third one was the most appropriate for it. So I initially started off in regards to editing, making sure that everything was synced, kind of going through and analyzing each stem. As you can kind of see here, the waveforms are pretty consistent throughout the entirety of each track. So in regards to kind of like strip silencing and whatnot, I didn't really kind of delve down to that part because I kind of wanted to keep it as organic as possible. Lisa Scott is a she does kind of reggae. She does reggae, kind of folky reggae. It's kind of very chilled out and relaxed music. So I didn't really want to make it too technical. I wanted to keep it quite organic as an overall piece. Yeah, so I initially started off, kind of synced them everything up. I faded the intro of the track. I provided a fade out at the end of the track. No, there was no splices in between the tracks and no crossfade indicator I needed to occur. And yes, essentially it was pretty much just to kind of set everything up. So you kind of performed the song 4 times, and we got the best take. And this is the result of it. Obviously, I got rid of any unused audio and got rid of any unused playlists to make sure that this project was tidy for the purpose of obviously my assessment, my presentation. So yeah, that's my final final kind of table, I guess, on my main page. So if I navigate over to my mixer, I'll just take you through there and I got the step-by-step process of what I did within the post-production stage. So I used the Brauner VM1 condenser microphone for the lead vocals. I initially started by trimming it down. I trimmed it down just to make sure that the levels were kind of, going around like -16, giving me enough headroom, I guess, for when I was going to be, for later processing and further mixing and further kind of EQ. I applied some reductive EQ. As you can see, I've kind of done as you can see, and I'll bring onto the screen, I've done a low cut to kind of take out any of those resonant frequencies or any bass frequencies from the guitar or from a voice that obviously I didn't want, I guess, within the final mix. And you can see here, I've kind of really taken out, there was like a really resonant response up there. And it was just kind of really ear-piercing, so I thought, well, I'll just kind of pull that out. I'll take that out of the mix as to avoid any potential issues later on. As with many of my vocal productions, I've used the DBX 160, a great choice of compressor. Subtle compression, not too harsh. Well, in regards to how I'm using it, it can be quite harsh, if used extensively. But I use that slightly for her vocals. Then the next on the chain, I used the sibilance plugin just to get rid of any kind of adjacent sibilance or any kind of harshness within the overall vocal track. And then I sent it through the SSL E channel for some additive EQ. So like you can see here, I've pushed it a little bit in regards to the high frequencies and the high mid frequencies. I've pulled back on the low mid frequencies and kind of given it a little bit of bottom with a boost in the low frequencies. Okay, so in regards to my guitar tracks now, so like with all of the other acoustic tracks I've done in previous projects, I like to, again, if I'm working with an acoustic guitar, I like to work with three microphone configurations. I like to have one center, I like to have one guitar left, and I like to have a guitar right. So my choice of the center point for the center point microphone was the Aston Spirit, a fantastic condenser microphone. I used the SL 184. The 184, and I used the 184 then for the right as well. So fantastic microphones, and they definitely did a good job in capturing the best response that I could possibly get within that session. I used the CLA mix hub. I used the bucket function to EQ them. As you can see here, I'm going to apply a little bit of EQ, really push the high frequencies, especially on the left channel. Just to kind of really pull out, really push that in the high frequency. I'm going to push the high mids. I've kind of taken out the low mids, and I've depicted on which channel I've kind of applied a little bit of bottom end on the center track, and I've pulled back on the left, as you can see here on the EQ parameters. Okay. Just to add a little, a bit of further reinforcement as well. Obviously, I applied some compression to the vocal track, but I didn't play any on the audio tracks, the guitar audio tracks themselves. So I thought, well, I'll send them through a bus onto an auxiliary track, use the DBX 160, and apply some parallel compression to kind of really bring out that body of the guitar, really make it more bring up his presence, I guess, within the overall mix. So I did that, and this sounds fantastic. And then moving on to the left and right kind of room stereo configuration. I once again set up a bucket for for the overheads. As you can see here, I'm kind of pushing the high frequencies and the high mids, taking back the low mid frequencies. I'm going to pull back, I guess, in regards to the room mics on the low frequencies, but I'm just kind of going to really get that, make it nice and crisp, kind of apply some body, I guess, within the instrumentation and vocal lines, but kind of pull back on the room as to not overbear it too much. And then once again, I've used the DBS 160 in kind of like a stereo configuration, so that that they're on point, so they're both exactly the same. Just to make sure, just give it a little bit of edge, I guess, to the room ambient capture. I then additionally used once again, I've used the 2016 stereo room mic, a stereo room, delay, reverb, to kind of really give more of an atmosphere, kind of really add to the acoustic treatment of the track. And I've used the H delay to add a little bit more variance, I guess, within the vocal track, the main vocal track. So once I got my final mix, as previously kind of explained, with my workflow with previous projects, I bust my track down to individual stereo buses. I use the SSLE channel kind of for additional EQ, I guess, on these channels, and I use the vocal rider specifically on the vocal bus. As explained, it's very good for kind of keeping that vocal sitting just above the overall mix, just to make sure that the vocal is the prominent aspect of the track. I apply some reverb on the guitar on the room bus as well, and once I had that, once I kind of configure that, and I pan them all correctly, exactly how I wanted them, I bust them through into a stereo bus, and I use the SSL bus compressor to kind of tighten the overall final mix. Once I was done, as previously explained in all the other videos, I bust that through into an audio track, and then obviously recorded them through the bus in real time. I always tend to record them through a bus in real time, in opposed to kind of bouncing the track out. Maybe due to aesthetics, but I just personally prefer the fact that I can actively watch the DAW as it's recording my finalized mix through the bus, in opposed to kind of relying on algorithms to be able to do it for me, I guess, maybe. But yeah, I'm happy with the results anyway. So yes, all in all, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Module. I hope you guys have enjoyed the presentation. I hope you all enjoy the the various mixes that I'm going to be presenting within my main presentation. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this module, and it's definitely given the opportunity to develop the sensor skills kind of really needed, I guess, to succeed within this industry. So thank you very much.